good people. Let's talk about aural interval identification today. Now, first, defining some terms. The word aural is not spelled perhaps how you thought it might be, A-U-R-A-L, and that refers to the ears, or identifying things by sound only. So not looking at them, either on a keyboard or on a staff, but only hearing the interval. However, I think it's important before we dive into that process that we have some understanding about the intervals that we're dealing with. So the number of an interval refers to its size, specifically the number of steps that you have to take from one note, the first note, to the second note. Now, anytime that we're counting an interval, I'm going to always count the first note as 1, and then count every line in space getting up to the next note. 1, 2. So because I only had to take one step, this is the interval of a second. We call this one a major second. The solfege syllables for this interval, you'll remember, are do to re. Again, just one step up our major scale. Do, re. And then, of course, as the distance between the two notes increases, so too does our count, and so too does the size of the interval. 1, 2, 3, or from do to mi, that's our major third. Do, mi, major third. We'll keep going. I'll go ahead and put a key signature on this just to make it absolutely technically correct. Remember, when I get to my third line, that's when my stem direction switches on my notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, fa. That's a perfect fourth. And the last one we're dealing with today, do to sol. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect fifth. Now, when we're given an assignment, like the ones that you have on musictheory.net, and you have to identify these intervals by sound, it can be kind of tricky. It can be hard to hear the difference. Now, obviously, we have our interval drill that we've been practicing, so you can use that as a reference. Do, re, major second, do, mi, major third, do, fa, perfect fourth, do, sol, perfect fifth, and so on. I think it's also helpful to have some melodies handy that go with each of these intervals, and we learned some of these in class. These are readily available if you look them up. If you search for them on Google, I found a bunch, but these are some of the most common ones. So for the major second, when you need to identify that, it sounds like the first two notes of your major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, because it is the first two notes of your major scale. Some other melodies that go with this are Happy Birthday, Happy Birthday, Happy Birthday, right? That's a major second going up and going down. Or you might know Silent Night, Silent Night. The first two notes of that are a major second going up and then back down again. There's some others, of course. Frère Jacques. Frère Jacques. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lots of different options for that one. The major third sounds like the beginning of our major triad. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. Do, mi, sol, mi, do. So that's usually what I use for a reference. But if you need a tune, there are several. Oh, When the Saints is the most common. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints. Every sentence of that starts with do, mi. Oh, when the saints go marching in. Another one you've probably heard is Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my lord, kumbaya, Kumbaya, do, mi, sol. That one works so well, of course, because it just starts with a major triad. Do, mi, sol. Another melody that I've taught you before is Hedwig's theme. Do, mi, from Harry Potter. This is the middle of the song. Da, 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 da. So there's some options for those. The perfect fourth has a lot of options. Our most common one, of course, is Here Comes the Bride. Sorry, I'm writing so small. Do, fa, here comes the bride. Bum, bum, ba-dum. Very easy, very quick one to remember. Another super popular one that you'll know is Amazing Grace. Amazing Grace, do, fa, la, fa, la. Hark the Herald Angels Sing also starts with this. Hark the herald angels sing, do, fa, fa. Quite a lot of songs use that particular interval. The perfect fifth has even more options for us. A lot of them have the same tune, but the alphabet song, or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, same tune. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, twinkle, twinkle, little star, do, do, sol, sol. Works great for either one. And then, of course, some popular movie tunes also use this interval. The first two notes of the main theme in Star Wars, bum, bum, ba, ba, bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, ba, 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 bum, bum. Or even E.T. theme, if you like that one better. Bum, ba, ba, da, dee, da, dee, dum. Okay, so those are some easy tunes to remember. And again, there's hundreds of these on Google. Just a quick search is all you need to find a melody that works for you. You don't have to know all of these. Pick one. Pick one that's going to be the most useful for you. So those are our ascending intervals. Let's move a little lower on my staff and let's do some descending intervals. I'm going to pick a different do this time because I can. Let's do a second going down. Same principle. We're going to start counting the first note and then count every one up one number for every step we take. 1, 2. So this would be a second going down from do to ti. We call that a minor second. Do, ti, minor second. The first two notes of our descending major scale. Now let's do a skip. Again, switching my stem direction as I cross that third line. Do, la, 1, 2, 3. It's a minor third. Sometimes, by the way, you'll just see these written for a major interval with a capital M and a minor interval with a lowercase m, like that. And that would be enough for you to distinguish between the two. Here's our perfect fourth. How do I know it's a fourth? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just count it down. You'll notice there's always the same number of lines and spaces between a fourth, whether it's going up or going down. Same thing with a third, whether it's going up or going down. This is also a perfect fourth. Do, ti, la, sol, do, sol. And then, of course, the perfect fifth going down. From do to fa. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect fifth. Just like with our ascending intervals, it's useful for us to have some melodies in our pocket that we know sound like this interval. Minor seconds got a couple good ones. Obviously, it sounds like our scale. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. So if you can remember that, that's helpful. It also sounds like the theme from Jurassic Park. Da, 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 do, ti, do, sol, fa. Or if you prefer, what are those? That's a minor second in real life. It also sounds like the beginning of a piece whose name you probably don't recognize, but the melody you certainly would. It's called Für Elise. It's a Beethoven song. It goes ba-dee-da-dee-da, ba-dee-da-dum, 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 bum-ba-da-dee-da-dee-da-dee-da-dum. First couple notes of that go back and forth between do and ti, between our minor second. Really popular song for people who think they can play the piano. Minor third. Now, the one that we use the most often in class, of course, is the doorbell. Ding dong, or the beginning of Book of Mormon. Hello, my name is minor third, do la minor third. The minor third is one of the most common intervals in music, and one of the ones that I use a lot for it is, of course, that mocking sound effect as well. Na 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 na, do la do la. But another one we don't think about as often is the Star Spangled Banner, which also starts with a minor third. Oh say, oh say, oh, do la minor third. So that's a really easy one that we don't think about as often. The perfect fourth, again, nice common interval. So when we have a descending perfect fourth, there's a couple of songs that work really well for that. O Come All Ye Faithful. O come all ye, do, do, sol, do. Very, very common. Another folk song that you might know is I've Been Working on the Railroad. Sorry, I can't write out the full names of these. I didn't give myself enough space. Oh, come all ye faithful, I've been working on the railroad. I like both of those songs because they go to sol several times, so it gives you some time to really reinforce. And then the perfect fifth going down, not as common an interval. Most common one you'll hear is the Flintstones theme. If you know that particular piece of music, Flintstones, meet the Flintstones, Flintstones, do, fa, perfect fifth. If you're into obscure Christmas music, and who isn't, you might know Bring a Torch, Jeanette Isabella. Bring a torch, Jeanette Isabella, do, fa, fa, bring a torch. That one's pretty obscure. The perfect fifth is a little harder to find songs for. So, with these 8 intervals in our pocket, we should be able to figure out basically any of the intervals that we're going to be asked to solve for on our singing tests. And fortunately for you, they're separated into ascending and descending tests. So we don't even have to worry about all 8 of these at the same time. We can just focus on 4 at a time. So let's go ahead and start with our ascending test. Now we can use the intervals to solve for these. We can use the tunes to solve for these. There's a couple other strategies that we can try as well, and I'll show you how I might use some of those. Remember, you can click this button with the sound icon as many times as you want to hear what that interval sounds like. Da, 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 ba, da. So I can go through with my preferred tunes and I can see if they fit. And to do that, I'm going to keep clicking this button over and over again, and I'm going to sing each of the songs. Let's start with Happy Birthday. Happy birthday. That sounds pretty good. Let's try some of my other ones and make sure that it's not them. Kumbaya, kumbaya. That doesn't match. Here comes the bride. Bum, bum. Nope, Here Comes the Bride's too big. Let's try our perfect fifth. Twinkle, twinkle. Nope. So you'll notice really quickly that none of these ones fit very well, whereas my major second, Happy Birthday, that one's actually a perfect match. And the nice thing about this app is you can click that button until the cows come home and really check yourself and really make sure that you're happy with the interval that you picked. Now, this is an important step for aural skills, and I've set these tests up to help you with this. Once you've clicked an answer, you can still click on the note again. Do, re, major second, do, re, major second. And now that I know what it is, I can practice it a couple times, get it really into my ear and into my brain. The same goes if I answer incorrectly. Let's say I think this one's a perfect fourth. When I answer it wrong, it'll highlight in red. But I still have the opportunity to answer again, and more importantly, to click on this again. So I thought it was a perfect four. Here comes the bride. Here comes the bride. Okay, that's not the note it's singing at all. I'm going farther. Here comes. So it's got to be a smaller note. Let's try the major second again. Happy birthday. Oh, that matches. Yep, there we go. So it's not about you just guessing until you get it right. It's about using the information, using the feedback, whether it's positive feedback and then reinforce it, do, re, major second, or if it's negative feedback, you need to learn from that and go back, right? Let's do a couple more of these. Quit giving me major seconds, dude. This thing is random. Okay, there's a different interval. Let's try this one. Let's try a perfect fifth. Let's go the other way. Twinkle, 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 twinkle. Not too big. Here comes the bride. Here comes. Still too big. Oh, when the saints. Oh, when. Oh, there we go. We found it. And see, it's helpful, I think, if you can really keep these tunes in your ear, it can be very easy to just sing them with this button as you click it. Oh, when. Or do it on the solfege if that's what you're working with. Do, mi, do, major third. We got it. Perfect. And now we're ready to move on. We're just going to click that button again. Now, we can use these tunes. For some of us, that's going to be really helpful. For others of us, it's easier to work with the solfege. It's easier to work with the scale. So we can do it that way too. Again, clicking this button as many times as we want. Let's step up and let's see how far it takes us up the scale to get to that next note. Let's try going do to re. Do, re. That wasn't right? Do, re. Let's just keep stepping up until we get to that note. Do, re, mi. Oop, I matched that time. Try it again. Do, mi, major third. Let's try going too far, and so you'll hear what it sounds like. Do, re, mi, fa, fa, do, fa. Every time it's going to give you do when it plays the first note, so you can reestablish yourself and use the step up method if you need to. Okay, so we stepped up to mi, and we found that one was the one that matched what was being played here. Do, mi. So that's our major third. Again, play it again, practice it. Do, mi. Make good use of your time. Let's step up our scale again. Okay, let's go. Do, re. Well, that one's already matching on do, re. And we can hear that it's a smaller interval, right? We can hear that it's closer together. Good, let's keep practicing. Do, re, mi, fa, mi, mi, mi. Do, re, mi, do, mi, major third. Now this method is really dependent on you knowing the solfege for each of these notes. But that's pretty easy to figure out, right? Again, you can use a little chart that you make for yourself like I've done. Just write it, or you can just write down your scale really quick. Do, re,